kind of going over here about our cuts again. So far this morning, what little deck room we got, I've got filled up here. I've been dragging logs, which you'll see that video tomorrow probably. But part of today's videos from yesterday and today both. So with these higher grade logs, I've already bucked these by the way. On these higher grade logs, I try to get the longest cut possible. Like this one here, we got it into a 12, and the reason why is because we probably could have made it a 16, but it's really starting to taper a lot. I know you can't see much from my shadow, but it's really starting to taper a lot. So we left it at 12 and kept a good diameter, and we can still get a pretty good high-end log here on the second cut of it. Of course, then we just got some lumber in the top, and oddball lumber. I think we got 12 foot on the lumber. The same with this guy here. I think this log we made into a 20-foot piece. And a lot of guys ask, like, oh, you know, if you cut those in 8s, 9s, you get more footage. That is correct, especially on the Doyle rule. You will get more footage if you make short logs rather than long logs. But when we're making these veneer logs, it's better off money-wise to have a longer log like this 20-foot log, keeping it all 20 foot in one price bracket. Yeah, we lose some overall footage, but all the footage of this 20-foot log is going to be in a high price bracket. Then we've got a 12-foot piece above it. So I'll split these apart with the skid steer and lay them in here. This one here is actually a 28-foot stick. And normally we don't find too many pieces that actually go 20 foot and longer. It's getting harder and harder to find the long multiple cut veneer logs, especially with some size like these. Like I said, this one here, it was in tomorrow's video you'll see it, but it's a bigger one standing in the timber. It was probably the tallest tree on the job. It kind of stood out like a beacon over there. But 28 feet. I haven't measured the diameter on it yet, but other than this vine, it's a clean log all the way up through here. It doesn't have anything on it, no blemishes, no cat face, no bird peck, worm. We took a gamble. I'm hoping that it doesn't cut off double-hearted up here, but even if it does, we've got so much to work with, we can cut it back a little bit. And then above here, I think we've got a 10-foot piece, which it's still a good size log, but you can see where the slim come out, and which here would be double-hearted for sure, which is why we didn't go ahead and make it a 30-foot log, because it will be double-hearted here at 30 feet with that big limb. We can go on over here now. A little bigger piece. This here, we just made a 10-foot cut. It's a good diameter to it, good size. The reason why we made 10 foot here is, of course, we could have pulled it on up, but it's got a limb there. Kind of like a little cat face or blemish right here. So what we did, we made a good 10-foot veneer cut out of it. Then we've really got a good piece here. We made a 9 cut right here. We'll split this. Even at 9 foot, we've still got a good diameter log. It's a 3-face log with just that, which I'm sure it'll be double-hearted here anyway, but the overall size of it's what'll help a lot. And then with splitting this, what we'll do is, of course, we'll take the skid steer, pick that up and drop it, and these logs will pop, and we'll have a good 8 and a good 10-foot log here in the top. Same goes with the rest of these. You got this big rough guy here, huge log, just a big rough log. At one time we'd call it a gun log, but now we just call it a heavy lumber tabletop log, which this will probably just be heavy lumber. I doubt they'll make a tabletop out of that. I don't think there'd be enough figure in it, but I think we just cut an 8-foot piece out of it and salvaged another 8 right here before the Y. And then, of course, we'll salvage pieces out of the top there. Looking here at this veneer piece here, kind of the same story. You know, a good clean in the butt. And of course, when you're marking these, like I do, I like to go down here and really kind of lean over and inspect them the best I can, because the last thing you want is to make a long cut and find a blemish or a cat face, which prior to cutting these, we kind of got a good idea of what they look like anyway, so you kind of remember that stuff before you cut it and get it out to the deck. A lot of lumber in the top here. Of Going down here to these next cuts. Of course, you're seeing these lines right here, these marks. This is whoever else came in after us and looked at this timber. They marked these trees, numbered them, lettered them, painted them. It's kind of the same story here, just trying to keep our veneer, trying to keep them. We like to make them long. I like having multiple cut logs just because you've got a lot of footage up in the high dollar bracket. But at times you kind of got to weigh your options to, if you make 10s, 12s, yeah, they're still good logs. But what's going to be left over? Like, I don't like to leave anything to chance. Like this here, we just cut a 12 out of it. We could have made it longer. We cut it right here, kind of back behind this swell to where it really starts to taper, you can see. Well, then we've got a 7-foot piece above it. No, I don't like to make 7s, but with the size of it, it'll still be in a good price bracket. And then we've got a good clean 8-foot log here. So that kind of gives you an idea what it's like when we go through on the deck, marking these logs. There is a lot of studying. I mean, with this walnut, it's basically this type of stuff here, we really study these logs hard before we make our decisions on our cuts, our marks. And then just kind of how we lay them out. You can see how, like, all the lumber stuff I kind of just pack in there because it's not really that big of a deal. It's just lumber. The veneer we space out because a lot of these logs will have to roll when our buyer comes because he'll want to see all 4 sides of the log. But we get a lot of questions. I have a lot of people ask me about how we determine log lengths and marks. And like I said, with the oak, it's kind of cut and dry. When we're cutting oak or, pallet material or maple ashes, whatever it be, I mean, it's usually 8s, 9s, 10s. And a lot of times it's usually just 8s and 10s. I don't make a lot of 9s, that other stuff. Now this stuff here, the walnut, I try to make all the 10s I can because my 10-foot logs bring more money. But like I said, just at the same time, it all depends on what's going to be left over because I don't like to, if I can keep a few feet here rather than to sacrifice, I try to keep it all to keep my footage there. But it's just you kind of got to know the log and know the markets. Because the end result, I mean, the footage is great. I think you got to have an equal amount of footage and you got to have equal on your average or your price. But the end result's all about that last figure, and that's the dollar figure. You want to do what brings your client and you the most money. Footage is nice, footage is great, but the dollar figure is what it all comes down to. Now, determining log lengths is a question I'm asked about a lot when we're marking our logs. And I don't mind working the deck area. I like it on deals like this where it's fairly fast paced. When I'm no more getting these logs marked, bucked up, put up with a skid steer, then there's automatically another turn coming out. It's pretty enjoyable when it is fast paced, but like I said, this is a part of it right here where you can either make your money or lose your money on determining your log lengths. Always the first thing I do, like on our deck, is I try to get a good look at the butts here, which these are dirty, but as long as we're not showing any holes, anything we got to cut back, which neither of these do, then I start looking for defects on the log themselves. Cap faces, limbs, pin knots, just a variety of things. From there we determine our length. A lot of times I'll dot them. Try to know where our best log's going to be. Here we've got a 16-foot log. Always allow quite a bit of trim. I always try to allow 6 to 8 inches at least to trim. we've got a good clean 16-foot veneer log here. Right here we'll cut it back below this big limb we've cut off. Try to pick up an inch. Hopefully it won't be double hearted there, but we've left ourselves enough room where if it is double hearted we can still cut it back. Just going to leave this one 12. Each log is considerably different from the next. Rarely ever, because yeah, they're all logs and they all look the same, but rarely ever are two just alike. And there's a lot of tricks to determining your log lengths on walnut. The oak and stuff for us is pretty cut and dry. The walnut, we've got so many different pricing brackets and categories with the logs where we've really got to watch how we mark them to make sure we get the most money for our clients and ourselves. I do study the logs a lot, and like I said, I probably don't always make the best cuts, but I like to try to make the best ones that I can see fit for the log itself. And by no means at all should you watch my videos and think, whoa, this is how he does it, that's probably how I should do my logs. Definitely depends on your markets and where you're selling to and who you're selling to and what they're doing with the logs, because everywhere is different. Just like we've had some markets in the past for some kind of oddball link stuff in a certain size and diameter, and it just depends on where they're going, what you're doing with them, to where you need to cut them. So always check with your buyers before you start going out there and just cutting trees down and knocking stuff out. Which for you guys that cut timber all the time, that's no secret to you. You guys already know that. But like I said, we get asked a ton of times about determining log lengths and what they bring. Now, as far as pricing, I don't ever get into any of that on my videos. As far as pricing goes, I keep that pretty confidential between my clients and myself. We don't put any kind of numbers or figures out on social media of any kind. What logs bring, what they do, that's all confidential stuff. I'm not opposed to discussing it with clients or people that are wanting to, have us look at their timber or kind of give them an idea of what they got. But as far as just putting it out there for the whole world to see, I don't do that. So let me get these cut up because I'm pretty sure there's another turn coming because I can hear the skidder.